Hello, everybody. This is a scene for the Changing and Dreaming, the Living with Darkness, New York. And we say welcome to you. We are really happy to see you watching our scene, or are you watching our scene? So today we start our scene in the Green Hall of the Columbia University. The Columbia University, the students have heard the Miss Patel, someone who's running for mayor in New York, is coming to the university for an interview. A lot of students have arrived before this interview has started. The dean of the dean of that particularly also have arrived. They're all waiting while our heroes Maugrim and Nosehorn. The Maugrim is from House Eilunid. Nosehorn is from Athene. They are the bad enemies, but well, who knows? They're in the back room getting ready for questions. The Miss Patel, the Nosehorn will see the Maugrim enters the room and nods. He looks like he is kind of excited as what he is going to do, but he says he literally starts and says I hope you like the questions. Is there any problem with questions?
No, I like that you are so well prepared.
Thank you.
I've given quite a few interviews already, and I have to say I'm very impressed.
Thank you. So I would like to ask you something before we go there.
Yes.
Other than the question stuff, I would like to bless you for this interview, if you allow me. So maybe more people will listen to you while you give your interview. But if it's the problem, I'm sorry. I don't mean anything bad.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I would be very honored.
He nods, and you see he starts to close his hands, and in chimeric reality, there's green flames of the fate that I have seen. Actually, it's Travis from Veronica. The green flames are going in Maugrim's hand, and he claps his hands, and you see that those green flames are coming near you. They're not hurting, nothing is bad, and they're disappearing around Nosehorn. And I roll my 7 dice of Soothsay and Fey. Difficulty?
3.
Okay, I have 4 successes.
Cool.
He will nod. You see that you see the chimerical reality, but even in chimerical reality, he looks like a trustworthy person. Oh, why? But he will look at you. Are you ready, Ms. Patel?
Yes. Let's.
He gives his hand to
you. She smiles and takes it.
Mm-hmm. And he will open the door, and you will see some students outside there. Everybody is clapping. And then they will enter the Green Hall of Columbia University. There's 300 students. Everybody is on their feet. Everybody is clapping. The students are waiting for Miss Patel to everybody is waiting for them to go in the middle of the stage and sit. You see the Maugrim will take Miss Patel's seat, and then help her to sit. He looks like a really he's acting maybe acting, or maybe looks like really a gentleman person on the stage. And he looks at the people after the claps are over. He starts to talk. Hello, today we have one of the possible New York mayors, Pretty Patel, with us in Columbia University. I am Shiro Murdoch, public relations students, and I met Ms. Patel in Dunhill. She was a really interesting person, and I invited her to our dear school. And well, I'm a lucky person. She accepted it. So everybody says, "Welcome to Ms. Patel." People will start the clock again.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Maugrim, and thank you all. Thank you all. This is quite the welcome.
People will look towards the the Chiro, because he just gave his real name, which hello Estes. Um, he looks at, well, she knows my nickname. We just become a little bit more closer.
Oh,
And
I'm so sorry. Like in
mhm,
character, it was supposed to be his name. I thought Maugrim
Maugrim,
was his name.
no, his name is Chiro Murdoch.
Oh
He
God. Okay.
but
Say that she
what?
said Shiro
Oh, okay then.
because she
Um,
would have
okay.
legit thought that
So
I was using your human name.
he sits, and there's waters, like everything that people need for a good interview. Everything looks really good, and he says, "Again, welcome, Miss Patel. It's an honor to have you here."
Well, thank you so much for inviting me down here. I've never been to Columbia University, and I have to say I hope this isn't the last time.
Oh, me too. Um, well, I would like to say also, I think I said like three times. It's going to be three times, but our dean, Mr. Simeon's over there. He is so happy to see you here. So can I ask my start questions with a really nice one?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Fire away.
Well, okay. He looks at his papers and says, "Okay, Miss Patel, how about we start with a little, knowing each other better kind of questions, and how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?"
All right. My name is Nagarina Patel, pretty for short. My parents emigrated from India when I was quite young. I was almost 3, and I have lived in Queens ever since. I've worked my way up to be a district attorney, and I this is my first shot at the mayoral seat, and it would be the first time that somebody got elected from Queens in 50 years, I believe.
He nods. Well, I see a strong woman in front of me. When we met together, actually, I was thinking about that exactly. But like, I think right now our watchers will also see that they see a strong woman who is going for the mayor of New York. Well, my second question will be, it's well, people might think that that's a known one. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, Mr. Bell?
My strengths are that I have a proven track record of being able to work within the legal system to accomplish my goals. My weaknesses would be hmm, I've been told quite a few times that I'm very ambitious. My weaknesses, I would say, is that I'm always thinking about the bigger picture. What's next? Uh, and I don't think necessarily that's the worst thing. But I see how it's important to focus on the here and now as well.
To be honest, I don't see that as a weakness as well, Ms. Patel. But well, it's your perspective. So the other question will be, what do you think about the other candidates?
Well, I can't speak to the other two, of course, because they haven't come out with their platform yet. But Mr. Awanatu, I believe it was my first speech, the one that announced my candidacy back in Queens, where I talked about how the final push for me to actually do this, um, because I've been suggested by coworkers and my family and even my supervisor uh, towards the end there, it had been suggested that perhaps this would be a good fit. But it was after Mr. Awanatu started to talk about his platform that was the final push for me, because he had a platform of things that had already been done last year, and he had a platform of using his own money to finance everything.
Hmm.
And It's a bit like I don't suppose you're keeping up with the current presidential race.
He actually nods. I do. Oh, see, I don't, but continue, please.
Um, are you familiar with Donald Trump?
Of course.
He says a lot of outrageous things, and it's hard to take him seriously until you realize that there's no other strong candidates on the Republican side and that he might be taken seriously. It moves people to act. And I felt moved to act after I saw Mr. Awanatu's platform.
That's something that some might consider noble, actually.
Well, thank you. It's certainly been nerve-wracking, but I am gaining in confidence. It seemed like a long shot in the beginning, and I feel like I'm making progress.
I do as well. Well, I would like to ask that what can you do for us that others cannot?
What can I do? Well, I am going to tell you flat out, here's what I can do that the others can't and historically haven't.
Mhm.
It's very simple. I'm going to submit a budget to everybody. It's going to be viewable online. In fact, the bigger itineraries already are if you go onto my website. Flat out budget, just everything listed and accounted for. You're going to know where the money is coming from and how it's going to be spent. I can guarantee that the other candidates will not be able to show you that. Unless it's Mr. Awanatu, of course. He might just submit something saying, it's coming from my piggy bank, it's coming from my family, it's coming from my own private business.
He nods. The this question is something that I actually this is something that I actually see in my class that my teacher really liked this question when I first told her like, how about we ask something like this? I would like to ask an example from you, Ms. Patel, and I would like to ask an example of time that you did something wrong, and how did you handle that problem, or the how did you handle it? How did you handle your wrong?
For years, actually, I denied that I was first generation. I didn't want to accept that that I fit the profile of somebody that lived in Queens. And whenever somebody wanted to suggest it, whenever I felt like I was being profiled through the different community services that my parents used because they had to use, I hated being pigeonholed into that, and I fought against it. I was ashamed of it. Um, but I'm ashamed of how I acted then. How do I handle it now? I'm very upfront. I am first generation. My family and I did come straight off the boat from India, and we were poor. And thank God for those social services that were there in Queens, or else I know I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I take ownership, I take responsibility of what I've done, and hopefully I can be an inspiration for other people that are now living in Queens that hate their situation, resent it.
My father once told me taking responsibility is something that a trait that a leader should have. He smiles and well, the next question is going to be: how would you describe your rule work style in if you become, the mayor of New York?
I have found through my experience as district attorney and now managing a campaign. Delegation. Delegation, delegation, delegation. And you need to know what specific responsibilities you are delegating out. So I won't take on everything myself. Certain pieces will be delegated out to others. I've already demonstrated that I'm very comfortable and able to work within our legal system. But that is my style. I'm big picture. I draw up what I want done, and I trust the people underneath me to be able to fulfill those responsibilities.
So you're saying, Ms. Patel, that you are someone who share not the responsibility, but the work that she's doing, and trusting the people that who is she working with?
I do have to trust my people, because ultimately it is all going to come back to me if anything happens, if there is anything irregular. But I believe that you have to delegate, because you can't take on all of this on your own.
He continues smiling, but he is giving that everybody is watching us smile. You have said that you were going to work with the people. So let's ask them, what kind of personality do you work with best with, and why?
People that are open-minded. If I have somebody that comes in thinking that all police are corrupt from the get-go, that there is nothing that can be done, or similarly, if I come in and I want to focus on retraining and shifting the focus away from recruiting from vets and other past active duty people into our police force, and that person disagrees with that firmly and believes that police are 100% to be trusted, now I can't work with either of those people. I need somebody that is going to keep an open mind and is willing to be flexible. I find if I find somebody that's a hard line in either direction, we're ultimately going to clash.
He knows.
If I had, at certain points in my life, if I had had such a firm, uncompromising stance on everything, well, I honestly wouldn't have been able to work with anybody. I would have only have been able to advance so far, and that would have been it. So definitely open-minded people that are willing to cross party lines to get the job done.
You see that the more you talk, the more you impress Maugrim. And he.
By the way, she is a. If he's really reading into it, I'm just going to give it away that she was directly referring to the fact that she's being interviewed by an Ilunid right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't get it. I'm sorry. Thank you for common sense. He looks at his papers. He takes another water. He sips from his water. What are you most proud of? Before you answer the question, OOC, roll me intelligence politics.
Okay.
Okay, it's still good. This question should be answered really carefully, because it can literally fuck you up in people's eyes. Proud. It's not that this is a question of trap. It's just that this, as a politician, that this question should be answered really carefully.
Have you ever been to Queens?
A couple times.
Then you'll know what the fixed rent buildings look like.
He nods.
You'll know that they've usually got a little community center with them too. But my neighborhood is the prettiest. About 6 years ago now. God. the Girl Scouts, for their gold award, fixed up the park, made it gorgeous. They built this little bridge that doesn't really need to be there, but it looks pretty. It goes over this tiny little stream that was artificially put in there. And the trees are just so tall and pretty now, and we still have some saplings that were planted 6 years ago. They're doing really well. And it just stands out, and it still looks nice, even though it's been 6 years, because not only was I so proud of how my neighborhood looked after that, but everybody in the neighborhood was. And now people go down there and they're not being paid. Nobody from the city is being paid to maintain this neighborhood park. We're all doing this on our free time. It's our park. And the fact that I know that my pride and their pride in it is what is sustaining it, gives me hope, and really is one of the reasons why I'm putting such a big focus on putting more parks in the boroughs. So yes, the thing that I'm most proud of is my own neighborhood.
You see, while you answer this question, there's a lot of like students who get kind of silent and watch you really, let's just say, seriously. And Maugrim again looks at his papers, and this question is also the like a question that usually given to a lot of politicians that who just started doing what they're doing. What do you ultimately want to become?
Hmm. All right. I love New York City. I do. And of course, I want to be mayor. But I can make it as far as governor. So, yeah, why not reach for the top? Maybe someday. Somehow, if there's a better, more direct way to benefit my home state, of course I'd want it.
You see, some of the people will clap that is. Um, well, this question is also one of the questions that I like. What are the three positive things that your your friends would say about you, and three negative ones? Some people
Mm.
laughs in the audience.
Okay, positive. I'm trustworthy. I'm loyal. I keep my word. Oh, the negative ones. Oh, what did my fiance say? I'm stubborn. I'm loud. And I'm not afraid to say what I think about Mr. Awanatu.
There's like when you say like I'm stubborn, some people laugh. When you say I'm loud, like more people laugh, and in the third everybody gets cracks. Like after some time, people continue laughing, and like the Maugrim waits for people to calm down, and then he gets serious again. And he will look at his papers and says, what is your greatest fear, Miss Patel?
My greatest fear is that the cost of living will get so high in New York City that the city that was once a beacon to immigrants, and everybody really, everybody in America, will be too expensive for them to live in. A lot of my plans, if you look at them, they're designed for longer than my term is going to be. Longer than 2 terms would be. They're designed to give us all a real shot at staying here before our own city kicks us out.
He smiles at that as well, and the what do you think it is going to be really different, really really different, if you become the mayor of New York? I would like to say that I already asked a question about like what do you have that others don't, but it's just about the New York. What is going to be different about New York?
Well, you heard that I wanted to up the minimum wage here, right?
He knows.
That would be one of the first things that I would implement. And I think that that would have the most direct impact on everybody the fastest. What else would be really different? The parks. See more area, not necessarily gentrification, but beautification. You would see more redesigning of existing infrastructures. And aside from the government offices, the sheriff's office, and so forth, that would also affect construction projects, how we see them now, and how long they take also. And if the governor comes through, legalized marijuana, that would be a lot different.
A lot of students. Just that, like the dean looks back at students. Like they're still there, but they're the Americans. They care about the free. Like they take about this. They want it, and nearly everybody's class.
Washington and Colorado have not caught on fire and gone to hell yet.
They clap more.
They've made a lot of people happy and a lot of states a lot of money. So here's hoping that that helps us out.
The Maugrim, like after some people like they continue clapping because like this is kind of something they wanted maybe, and after some time Maugrim like puts his hand like guys, okay, calm down, and he will look at his papers and ask what do you do in your spare time?
Oh, do I have spare time anymore? Well, I used to do a little bit of painting. Wasn't especially good, but still got some of them left. And I'm into gardening. I've got a lot of plants at my house.
Ah, plants.
Little greenhouses and stuff set up. Yes, they're just plants.
No, I didn't mean just plants. I actually like the
I am not that enthusiastic. I will stay within the confines of the law.
um. What was the book that affected?
I'm sorry, can you
No
repeat that?
problem. No problem. Okay. What was the book that affected your life, Mr. Brown?
I read this about 10 years ago. So when it first came out, it was very shocking to me. I don't know if it would have quite the impact on college age people now, but have you ever heard of the book Battle Royale?
Hmm. Can you tell me, see what that book is about? Because I will check the sheet and tell you, like, maybe he knows or not.
Okay, it's that book from Japan where like it was like before the Hunger Games. It's these kids are part of like this live televised game show, and they have to kill each other. And it's actually it's a lot bloodier than the Hunger Games. It came out years before it, and these children committed all these atrocities just so that they could survive. And it was a totally accepted thing. There wasn't any real purpose beyond entertainment. Um, yeah, that was the book. There was also a movie.
Um, he nods that when you talk about it, yeah, I read it. I read it.
It's a really heavy book. Um, Taught me a lesson, and it's something that I kind of picked up on later with Animal Farm in 1984. But when I first read that book, it taught me that people will get used to anything. Things that seem like great atrocities now. If you let the little stuff slide, um, pretty soon we could become desensitized to anything. So, yeah, I'd say it shocked me and it taught me an important lesson.
The crowd get more silence when she talks about the battle royale. The Maugrim smiles and looks at his paper like there's like last two questions that you know that like there should be last two questions. And he's like, what is your favorite memory from childhood?
Um, this is so unrelated to my campaign, but Sesame Street came to my community center one time. It was a big deal. Cookie Monster hugged me. Like it's amazing how alive they look when they've got a hand in them. They just they're not flat fabric anymore. You got a hug from Cookie Monster because everybody wanted the hug from Elmo at the time. The line was shorter for Cookie Monster, so I went there, and there was Big Bird. But I must have been really young because Big Bird kind of scared me. But yeah, that was good. It was a really good memory.
The people will laugh, like so does Majum. And you see that there is a pencil on his shirt. You know, like there's they in it, like you know they put the uh, pencil to their chest pocket. And as our tradition of our school, my last question will be: could you please sell this pencil to me?
Sell it to you. She takes it.
Mhm.
You want me to sell this to you?
Yeah.
Hmm. When was the last time you used a pencil?
Just now, I gave it to you.
No, I mean to actually write something down. When was
Oh,
the last time?
I write my number yesterday to someone.
Okay. I'd say that's a really important use. Was it a girl?
Oh no.
Just curious. That's important in an age of cell phones and instantly looking people up. Still used a pencil to write down a number. So I would say that this is, in that instance, at least as important as your smartphone. It should be treated as important, honestly, all while using just ordinary pencil. Uh, we grow up our entire lives using cheap pens and pencils because they get the job done. And they get it done fast, faster than things like cell phones. And we do it for grocery lists, directions, just a quick idea. Because it's going to be faster than opening up notes and typing it in, one letter at a time, or two if you're really fast with your thumbs. But we never give it much thought. This pencil is for those moments. This is the tool you use when you don't have a lot of time, but the time that you do have is crucial. Think of it as essential to you. Because when you're using the right tool to get it done, you're going to be more productive. And you're a student, correct?
Yeah, I am.
And I would say this is very, very important to you. So, what do you say? Do you want this pencil?
Well, you just said it's important to me. Of course I do.
Okay.
He
Here's the
opens his
pencil.
hand. He takes the pencil and looks towards the people. Well, people, it was an awesome interview. It's a pleasure. He turns towards the Ms. Patel. It was a pleasure and honor to have you here, Ms. Patel. Thanks you a lot for coming. Today we had someone who is trying to be better, someone who is trying to make New York better than it already is, and someone who is from New York. And she's so cute, isn't she, Fox? And then like I'm gonna roll some charisma, persuasion. This is going
Seduce
to
them
be.
all.
No, I'm not gonna use this charisma. Can I bless myself before I do this?
Yeah, you could.
But never mind. It's just gonna be. I'm gonna spend a little power for this. Do you the persuasion? I don't think that it affects the stuff. I have 3 successes, so I may be getting some of them. We don't know. I will give this the JC. This will do the JC.
Cool.
And you see immediately some students will, like the students who's working for the school will come in front of the stage. The Maugrim will extend a hand to get up with Miss Patel, and the immediately one of the students, like those beautiful, that girl, that her job is the giving thank thank you gifts to the people, like her job in that 4 years of school, but just because she's beautiful, that she gives that gifts to the people who is coming to the school as a guests. Like she arrives immediately, she's holding a really big flowers, and then like she's holding that thank you note for Miss Patel. Thank you coming to the New York, the Columbia University. The dean arrives they start to take photos, and then the Margaret asks, "Do you would you like to talk? Are you going to answer the questions of the students, or we can end the interview right now?"
Yeah, actually, I'll answer a couple questions.
Okay. Well, I would like to end our scene there, while
Okay.
Ms. Patel is answering the questions of students. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. See you next time.
And thanks, Amachan. That was a really good interview.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. Hey, guys.